On May 26, we'll be experiencing a full moon in Sagittarius with a lunar eclipse on top of it. Say what? Now, full moons are already intense enough as it is, but then add an eclipse on top of it and it feels more like this. But don't worry, because my guides have given very simple advice on how to work with the energy of this full moon eclipse so you can move forward in your life with a lot more clarity and joy. In this video, you'll learn the top characteristics for this full moon in Sagittarius, then we'll go into the one key theme for this full moon, and then I'll share 2 simple practices that you can use during this full moon to help harness its power. Coming up. Hello, beautiful soul. This is Christina Lopes, the Heart Alchemist, here to help you open your heart, heal your past, and live with purpose. If you're new to my videos, click on that subscribe button and also on the bell so you get notified as soon as I publish new content. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I share weekly tips and advice that you won't find here on YouTube. On to part 1 of the video, the full moon in Sagittarius. All right, so it's happening on May 26. We're having a full moon plus lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So let's break these parts. Let's break this astrological event down in parts to make it easier for us to interpret the energies and know how to work with the energies. All right. So the first part, let's go into the full moon aspect of it. Okay. So whenever there's a full moon, full moons occur once a month. And whenever there's a full moon, this is an energy of completions. This is an energy of harvesting, reaping what you sow. This is an energy of just a lot of completions, a lot of endings, completing cycles. This is also, this word is coming into very strongly, not just for full moons in general, but for this one in particular. I've really been, my guides have been emphasizing the word, the term maturation or maturation of energy. Okay, so it's almost like we're reaching a certain level of spiritual and emotional maturity within us. Okay, so our energy is maturing. And so that has really been being emphasized here in this full moon. Okay, so this is generally what happens in a full moon. There's a lot of full moons are traditionally where farmers harvest. Okay, so they plant things in new moons and then they harvest in full moons. So this is when the cycles, there's a cycle that's ending, there's major things ending, major completions, and a lot of maturation of energy. Okay, so that's the aspect, that's the full moon aspect of this astrological event. Now to the lunar eclipse aspect of this astrological event. Okay, so lunar eclipses, what they do is they activate what's known as your lunar nodes. Okay, now, if you don't know anything about lunar nodes, you have a south node and a north node in your astrological chart. And when a lunar eclipse comes in, it really highlights these aspects, especially that north node. Okay. And so essentially what your north node is, it's sort of your destiny, where your soul wants you to go. So when there's a lunar eclipse, the aspects, these lunar nodes are very highlighted and activated within your chart, especially if your north and south node fall under the sign in which the eclipse is at. Okay, so if you have a north or south node in the sign of Sagittarius, then this is really going to play out in the full moon that's coming up. Okay, so I'm not going to go deeper into north and south nodes and what they actually mean, because I shot a whole video on that. I shot a whole video on the importance of the north node, and I'll leave links to that video in the description box below so you can watch after this one. Aside from activating your lunar nodes, lunar eclipses in general, they really speed up and accelerate things. They amplify things. Okay, so when you have an eclipse just takes the energy of the full moon and just exponentially increases, it speeds up and accelerates the energy. Okay, so eclipses really do that. They really accelerate energy. And when it comes to when we're talking about a lunar eclipse, what's happening is, in general, full moons, you can see the full moon really brightly because that whole front surface of the moon is being lit by the sun, and that's why you can see these beautiful full moons. But when you have a full moon plus lunar eclipse, what's happening is the moon is being hidden from the sun. So the earth is actually sandwiched between the moon and the sun. And that's why in full moon lunar eclipses, they're not bright. They're not bright because the earth is kind of blocking the sunlight from hitting the moon. All right. So this aspect of the lunar eclipse makes it a little bit a different type of full moon because it's not bright like regular full moons. The third aspect of this astrological event is the zodiac sign in which this full moon lunar eclipse is happening, which is in Sagittarius. So whenever an astrological event like a full moon happens within a specific zodiac sign, then the full moon takes on the energy of that zodiac sign. So in this case, we're talking about Sagittarius. That's my natal chart. That's my sign. Sagittarius is this full moon. So that is the zodiac sign of the truth seeker, the seeker in general. That's the sign of constant expansion. So Sagittarius it's a sign of constant expansion, world traveler, adventurer, explorer, truth seeker. These are some of the characteristics of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire energy, okay? So it's a fire sign. So very fiery, very passionate. On the flip side, Sagittarius can be an impulsive energy, okay? Especially if the fire aspect of it isn't tempered, okay? So these are some of the characteristics of Sagittarius that then play into the full moon that's coming up, especially the lunar eclipse too, because the lunar eclipse just amplifies the characteristics of this zodiac sign. So these are some of the general characteristics for this full moon, but there's one of them that I really want to focus on. There's a major theme that I want to focus on, and this takes me to part 2 of the video, which is the one key theme for this full moon. Okay, so the one key theme for this full moon, actually when I tapped into the energy and I got a feel for the energy, I immediately got the image of a turtle. Okay, it seems a little bit weird, but I immediately got the image of a turtle. My guides gave me that image as a way to convey the idea that the key, there's a saying with the turtle that goes, slow and steady wins the race, okay? Slow and steady wins the race, says the turtle. And that essentially, that image of the turtle, that image of slow and steady wins the race, is really the main theme for this full moon. And it was really emphasized a lot by my guides because what's happening is this slow and steady wins the race. This turtle, the turtle moves very slowly, flows through nice and slowly, and that's the energy that's coming in as the major theme for this full moon. And it could seem like it's a little bit, a little bit contrary to the energy of Sagittarius, and that's one of the reasons why it's really important for us to work with even working with the totem animal of the turtle, even invoking that spirit animal could be a great way to work with this full moon energy. And the reason that the turtle is coming in as a major theme for this full moon is because what's happening is this full moon is occurring at a time where there's enormous amounts of acceleration. We've been in a totally accelerated speed of evolution since the start of the COVID pandemic in the beginning of 2020. And it's really accelerated us into what's known as the new age of Aquarius, all right? So there's already intense energy movements occurring in general, but then when you layer it on top of this full moon plus lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is a sign that can be impulsive and very fiery and always wanting to be on the move, now you can see that the energy can get so powerful that your system can actually short circuit. So my guides are giving the image of a turtle as a way to kind of impart this message, and that is that we need to temper the impulsive and fiery energy of Sagittarius, okay? So another way of saying this is slow down, go with the flow, right? Like, slow down, relax, go slowly, move slowly. Okay, we're saying the same thing in different words, but really what this turtle energy is coming in, it's saying, it's helping us to not short circuit, especially if you're a fire sign, because whenever an astrological event occurs in your zodiac sign, you're even going to be affected by this more. So that's me, and that's all the Sagittarius people out there. We even have to be more careful when it comes to this energy because it'll affect us even more. But this is affecting everyone, really. The Sagittarius energy is coming in to really amplify this, giving it a bit of a fiery full moon, fiery characteristics. And so We need to temper that energy, really temper that energy, slow down, slow and steady wins the race, be nice and slow, be meticulous in our movements. And that's the way that we could prevent ourselves from short circuiting and from going into exhaustion with all of these accelerated energies that are not just from the lunar eclipse and full moon, but compounded on all of the other changes that are occurring on the planet right now. Okay, so that's the biggest theme that my guides have been giving for this full moon, is that image of the turtle. So don't forget it as you're working with this full moon energy. Now to part 3 of the video, the top 2 practices for this full moon. So when I was tapping into the energies and feeling into the energies of this full moon, it's interesting because the energy felt different. So usually when I'm working with a full moon and a full moon lunar eclipse, there's a lot of ceremony involved. I like to do a lot of ceremony during full moon and lunar eclipses. There's a lot of ceremony involved. But when I was tapping into this energy, there was a difference in the energy and the practices that the guides were recommending for it. Okay, so you can still use ceremony, nothing wrong with that. I love doing ceremony for full moon, and by ceremony I mean lighting some candles, having some drumming music, using sacred smoke to kind of clear up the space, all of the things that we generally use for a ceremony. You can still do that. But the guides have really been focusing on 2 practices, 2 very simple practices, but 2 practices that will again help kind of embody the turtle energy, the totem animal turtle. So I'm going to share those practices with you. The first one that the guides are really emphasizing, and probably the most important, is breath. Okay, so breathing. It's a focus on the breath, and it could be just something as simple as you sitting down. You can maybe start with your ceremony, do your thing, and then sit down in the middle of the ceremony. Just sit down, close your eyes, and begin to focus on breathing. And the type of breathing that the guides are emphasizing here is, it's not a fast, fiery breath, okay? Because that would really rile up even more energy. It's a slow, deep breath. So it's what's known as belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, okay? So this is the type of breathing that's coming from the belly. It's very, very deep, okay? So this is the type of breathing that you can emphasize when working with this full moon energy. You take a nice deep breath. Let's actually do one together right now, okay? So 3, 2, 1, belly breath. And then release. You see? Long, deep inhales, long, deep exhales, okay? Nice and slow. This is the type of breathing that's very, very good to use right now during this full moon. And just by doing 1 round, I don't know if you felt it, but I could feel it. Just by doing 1 round of a slow, deep breath, my system calms down immediately. And that's specifically why the guides brought this practice up, because by focusing on the breathing, on these deep belly breaths, what you're doing is you're calming your system down, which is you're embodying that turtle energy, okay? You're just calming your system down. You're calming the fiery energy of Sagittarius. You're calming that down, and you're bringing your system more into a state of relaxation and alignment. The second practice that the guides have been focusing on is on body relaxation, actual body relaxation. So I feel it as like a softening of the body, just a softening of the body. That's really being emphasized right now. And this goes hand in hand with the breathing technique, and it goes hand in hand with embodying that turtle energy, right? Like just soften your body. And this could be done with gentle stretches, with just gentle movements. It could be even done with self-massage if you want to. So the point here, it could even be done with the breathing. So when you start to do deep belly breaths, that deep diaphragmatic breathing, when you start to do that deep, slow breathing, what you do is your body starts to relax automatically, right? So this is a great way to actually complement the breathing exercise. As you just start to focus on just relax, you can just do some circles with your shoulders and just relax. Command your body to relax as you're doing the deep breathing exercises, okay? This body relaxation is also going to calm the energy system down. And so you're going to be more in an energy of flowing, in an energy of just, of just kind of moving forward and enjoying life, but enjoying life in a nice, calm kind of way, all right? So these are the 2 practices that the guides have emphasized. And again, you can keep doing your ceremonies if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do your regular full moon ceremonies, but just really emphasize, really focus on these two key practices that are really going to help in this intense full moon plus lunar eclipse. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below, what did you resonate the most with about this energy of this full moon? Let me know in the comments below. Click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or head over to my website to download my popular guided meditations, and here are some videos to continue your viewing. All right, beautiful soul, I love you. I'm out.